Alright guys, so today is April 22nd. We are going to be working on putting decimals in order. So they're going to be giving you questions and they're going to tell you put it from least to greatest or greatest to least, either way. Okay, so in order to understand that though, you really need to understand what place values are. So when I say place values, I mean when I have my decimal, what does that number that's to the left represent? What is that number that's to the right? So if I want to look at all the numbers that are to the left, I have my units, which is also my ones. You can also call that your ones. So let me write in ones. I have my tens, I have my hundreds, and then I have my thousands. Now, if I look to the right of the decimal place, I have my tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. Notice that they have the THS at the end, so you kind of say it a little funny, kind of like you have a lisp, right? Hundredths. So now I'm going to use an example. So let's say I'm given a decimal, and I'm given, say 0.125. That 125. I have 0.04. Just put it like that. 0.21. Yeah, let's do another one. Let's do 0.004. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and put these in order from least to greatest. When I'm looking to see least to greatest, I'm going to start with my units or my ones place. So if I look at my ones place, let me draw an arrow here. Okay, if I'm looking at my ones place, are any of those greater or less than the other? No, they all start at 0, so that really doesn't help me at all, right? So now I'm going to go on to my tens place, and I want to see which number is the least. So I have 1, 0, 2, 0. Okay, so now I can just focus, just for right now, I'm going to focus on these two. Okay, so they both have 0, so that doesn't help me. So I need to go to the next place. I have a 4 and a 0. Well, what number is less, 4 or 0? That's an easy one, right? 0. So that means 0.004 would be my least. Okay, so I know that I can cross that one out because that's my least. So let me go back. So now I'm left with a 1, a 0, and a 2. So I ask myself, which number is the least again? Well, 0 again. So now I have 0.04. Okay, they look very similar, but that 1, 0 makes a big difference. So now I see what number comes next, my 1 or my 2. Well, if I'm going from least to greatest, my 1 is less than my 2. So I have 0.125. But that looks a little bit weird to me because I know 125 is way bigger than 21. So how is it that I'm putting that one least if it looks like it's greater? Well, look at this. If I were to fill in this empty spot with a 0, now that's 210. So you can think about it as an imaginary 0, but that's why it's really important to line up my decimals and see the order which they goes. So 0.21 is actually larger. And you can also think about it as 21 hundredths versus 125 thousandths. Okay, so that's how I put it in order from least to greatest. So when you are working on your IXL assignments, when I get my IXL, so I'm going to go on to IXL, you are going to be doing what did I say? You are going to be doing F4, so you're going to go to 6th grade. And F4. Okay, so now they're asking you to put it from greatest to least. I suggest that you make your chart. Make a chart. So let me use this example here. I have 7.7, 0.77, and 7.77. Oh, it's a lot of sevens. Okay, so if I were to make my graph, so I'm gonna use this graph again. Erase all of this. So let's write it in. I have 7.7. I have 0.77. And then I have 7.77. Okay, so let's start with the first one. And they're asking to go from greatest to least. So this one they did it backwards. They reversed it on me. Right? Greatest to least. So I'm going to look at the greatest numbers. So I have 707. So I know it's between these two here. So that doesn't help me. So I'm going to go to the next number. Okay? So I'm only focusing on these two. Now I have a 7 and a 7. That doesn't help me again. So now I'm going to go to the next one. This is a good question because it's kind of tricky. Now, there's no number here, but I told you earlier, if there's no number, you can fill it in with an imaginary 0. So now I have 7 and 0. So which number would be larger? Well, this one, right? So I have 7.77. Cross that one out. So if this one is out, my next option would be 7.7. And my last one is 0.77. So I'm going to go back. Now when you go to these, you're going to drag them to put them in order. So that matches this. Good. So I go ahead and submit it. Okay. Again, I think it's so much easier if you draw that table to help you plug in those numbers. So you're going to do F4, put them in order. If you guys have any questions, just message me.